So hi everybody, my name is Julia and I'm from BuzzUp, and we make the world of pollinators transparent, understandable, and actionable. Wait, I can't switch the screen. Okay, here. So basically we translate the language of pollinators. And the reason behind this is, thing is 80% of our food is pollinated by bees. So from everyday things like coffee, strawberries that you eat for breakfast, and milk even, there's always something that is pollinated by the bees. But the problem is that we do not understand them as much as we need to understand them. So, and this affects a lot of stakeholders. So farmers, for example, they cannot produce enough yields because they do not have all of this information that regards to pollinators. So since they can't monitor how the pollinators are pollinating their crops, they cannot optimize them. So in turn, they lose out on around 20 to 50% of the yields, depending on crops, just because they don't have this information. So imagine all of that just going to waste because they don't have enough information. So for beekeepers, they lose out on a lot of time and therefore profits, because they have to take care of like 2,000 hives, and it's really like labor intensive. So this is a problem for them, and they lose out on bees as well. So they're the ones who are taking care of those bees. And because they cannot actually have the time to do it all at once, the bees die. And also researchers, they can't develop proper chemical products like fertilizers and pesticides that actually respect the bees. So what do we do as BuzzUp? Well, our solution is turning buzz into data. So basically, we have these small IoT devices, as you can see on the left, that listen to and translate the sound of bees. So we combine a lot of data all together. So temperature, humidity, GPS, and the sound. We send it to our AI, which analyzes it and provides information such as health and performance data of those bees. So not just honeybees, by the way, like also bumblebees and mason bees, depending on what type of crop they're pollinating. And so when we have all of this performance data, we sell it to different customers. So as you can see, to the farmers, we help them increase their crop yields, depending on the crop, by 20 to 50%. The beekeepers, we help them increase their profits and honey production, and also to not let the bees die. And researchers, we help them develop new products. What is going on in the market? So currently we have around 3 different competitors, Bee Hero, Nectar, and Pollinity. They do not, as you can see on the graph, some of them do not monitor different types of bees. So mostly they focus on honeybees, and they do not have a lot of parameters. So they do not focus on temperature, humidity, like some of them just focus on the sound. And so they do not go as in depth as we do. The market, it is a total of 13.8 billion. So that is including indoor and outdoor farms, the pollination market. And we are hoping to conquer 9.5 billion of it. So, and this is in dollars. Right now, we already have 500 customers. So we are starting in Europe, and we have 500 customers that are beekeepers. Active devices, 1,500. And we are cash positive since 2019. So in 2021, we had a turnover of $350,000. Our retention rate of the customers is 90%, and we have previously already raised 270K. Our team consists of beekeepers. This is actually how it started. The beekeeper, he combined his forces with a software engineer, and they came up with the solution. Marketers, business development like me, and strategists. We also have mentors that have successful companies. And we're working together with a lot of universities to develop our devices and our algorithms. And also we are co-funded by the European Union. So we had a little grant from them as well. And we're working on a project, PRIMA. It is around the Mediterranean area to help understand what kind of impact does climate change have on our pollinators. Currently, we're actually raising $3.2 million to help us scale. So for production, research and development, and marketing. So we're trying to also expand into the US market and South America and Asia. Yeah, so measure what is measurable and make measurable what is not so, by Galileo Galilei. So this is what we're trying to do. Thank you.
Perfect timing with 4 seconds left. Ooh. Julia, great job on the pitch. Thank you so much for sharing BuzzUp with us. Let's see what the buzz is with the other investors. Alex, Fabian, I'll bring you guys back on board and let's get some feedback for Julia and some questions.
Loving how you use every pun in this word in the name of the company. No, it's great that you managed to, well, it's fascinating that we can kind of talk to bees. So I'm fascinated. I was just wondering, I totally see the value proposition to beekeepers. I was just wondering like the 15 to 20% yield increase for farmers sounds a bit steep without knowing anything about it, right? So I'm not an expert in that field. So I was just wondering, what's your traction on the farmer end? Where does this number come from? I guess it's probably talks to a specific type of farmer. What type of farmers are we talking about? It's probably not applicable to the whole industry as such. So maybe you can help me to understand how you tackle that market in the future.
Okay, so thing is the 15 to 20%, so it actually depends on the crop we're talking about. So for almonds, for example, they're very reliant on pollination. So let's say the farmer, he has those 2 weeks of pollination that he has to rent those bees and help them pollinate their crops. So it is very important for the farmer to actually know if those bees that he's renting are doing a proper job. So if, for example, the beekeeper says, oh yeah, okay, those bees are doing their job, the farmer kind of says, okay, maybe, I don't know. So in turn, he can lose out on those yields just because the bees are underperforming or are sick. So this is where we come in and we provide this data on the pollination performance of those bees that the farmer is renting. And therefore he can take action like really fast if he can see on the phone, oh, actually they had some app. So he can see everything through the app. And if the bees are underperforming, he can go and tell the beekeeper to do something to actually fix the problem. And therefore the farmer will not lose out on those yields. And actually right now we are testing with a lot of customers in Europe mostly for the farmer side. And this number is actually, we didn't come up with it. It's from a lot of research papers done by people that are, let's say, much more smarter than us in the research area. So, yeah.
I didn't know that you can rent bees, to be honest. Also, first time I heard that. So you could basically even do a performance-based pricing with your technology of the beekeepers when you rent.
Yeah, also, yeah. So if the bees are underperforming, the farmer can pay less. I mean, this is not what we actually want to achieve because the end goal is to make the farmer increase his yields or make the bees perform better. But this is also a road that can be taken. Yeah.
And Fabian, maybe one more question, and then I shut up. What is the business model that you use for those different market segments?
So we sell hardware, so the devices themselves to beekeepers, and they go and pollinate the other people's crops. And from there on, we sell the data directly to the farmer. But we are also testing another model right now to sell those devices directly to the farmers, which can, when they rent those bees, they can be like, okay, I will rent your bees, but you have to put in this device so I can see what's going on. So currently we're still in the middle of testing those two business models to understand which one is better. But in the end, it could be, we can take both. So it doesn't hurt to take both ways.
Thanks.
Really fascinating. The whole bee world is super fascinating. And in terms of the market, if we go back to that one, sorry if I missed it, but what are because the market sounded very big when you're just like looking at beekeeping. Could you just maybe take us one level deeper in the market sizing?
Yeah. So the market is not just beekeeping, it is the whole pollination market. So it's what how the bees contribute to this whole crop yield situation. So how much they increase, how much the farmers actually earn on this, and how much the farmers pay for this service. So this is what I say when it comes to the market.
Okay.
So not just the beekeeping side of it. Yeah.
And how much can you charge per customer?
Well, we're thinking of 20% of whatever the beekeeper is charging. No, whatever the beekeeper is charging the farmer. So it also depends on how much data they want. So per acre, let's say, we're still trying to figure out with the test farms that we're currently running this pricing model. But this is what we have in mind currently.
Okay, cool. And in terms of the actions you take, sorry for being a bee noob here, but like what do you actually do with the data? What is the data that you produce, and can you like give some examples of the actual use case or like the actions that then the beekeeper takes?
Yeah, so the beekeeper, he can go in and treat the bees or replace the hive that is currently pollinating those crops. So usually the beekeeper, he manages on average, let's say 1,000 beehives. So, and they're usually doing different things for different farmers, or just they're collecting honey in the wild. Yeah, so in this case, when it comes to honeybees, they can just either replace the hive or try to fix the problem that is at hand. So if it's swarming, for example, they're trying to like separate, the beekeeper takes care of it. Yeah, it's very technical, so I will not dive too deep in there. Yeah,
So Julia, one of the questions I had for you, I asked you, I think over email, but I think it's worth bringing up here as well, is the business model even selling to beekeepers and farmers, or is it selling the data to the people that are then speculating on the crop production side of things? So large hedge funds that are dealing in commodities.
Wait, sorry, can you repeat the question?
So I imagine there's a lot of money on the commodities market of what's the price of wheat going to be? What's the price of barley going to be? Well, if you have all of this information on where the best pollination is happening and where it's not happening, I think there's probably a lot of value there for either hedge fund traders or people on the insurance side of things.
Yeah, this could be an interesting approach. We have not dove that deep into it yet, but it's definitely something to look at as well.
And in terms of the future of the business and the business development, how do you grow and scale? How do you take this from where you are today to something that's 100 times as big, 1,000 times as big? What do you need to accomplish? How do you get there?
So the thing is, mostly if you already know farmer associations or beekeeping associations and farmer consultants, if you're speaking to them, it's much easier to sell that way. So they're the ones who are like the trendsetters, let's say, of the industry. And we already have a couple of, okay, not a couple, more than a couple of contacts like that. So yeah, this is the way to go from there. So target the trendsetters and go from there.